Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Coffee Ann on WOON Radio. Thanks for joining us Tuesday morning, April 15th. Happy tax day to you. I'm Joe Callahan. That's Linda Thibault that says, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, it is.
tax day.
Good morning.
And Ed, you already knew that, right?
Yes, I did.
It's tax day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. And nice to have Ed back. He had the last week off. And you can see now, right?
I can see.
Oh, perfect.
I can see clearly now.
Got that good 20/20 vision going?
Well, whatever the number is, I don't know.
It's
20/20 with corrective lenses.
Let's get a first message, Ed, from the Carew Investment Group.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group. We've got some simple advice about investing. Well, the old days of financial uptrends and downtrends lasting for days, weeks, and months are long gone. Sometimes trends last for only part of a day before changing direction, like almost every day. Investing is not an activity for those who can't take the time to study each twist and turn for the opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, we've seen them all, and we'll invest for you the same way we invest for ourselves. Carefully, very carefully. And it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with us, so give us a call at 765-8880. Our office is conveniently located at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3 in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, Ed, thanks. And I don't know if I told you this because I had to visit my ophthalmologist because it was weird. It was hurting to blink, and then when that hurts,
don't blink.
Don't blink. Something's really wrong.
Don't do that.
So I went to go see her, and she gave me some eye drops and some antibiotics, and they should take care of this. Come back and see me in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and we'll make sure everything's all cleared up. And it did. Everything went away. And when I went back for the checkup, she said, "Oh, good. I'm glad it all cleared up. That way I don't have to do a procedure." I said, "Hey, you didn't say that last time I was here. Well, what procedure were you thinking about doing?" He goes, "Well, if the eye drops didn't work and the antibiotics didn't work, I was going to have to go in and and there was something there that she could see. I was going to have to go in and get it and like poke at it and drain it." I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Sorry, I asked.
Yeah, I was like, "I'm never coming back here." But everything went good, so I was happy with that. And it's too bad Ed wasn't here last week, because last week was the real, just wild, the sky is falling kind of stuff with the stock market. But things have mellowed out somewhat, or is it still? Are we still up and down and up
We're
and down?
We're still going to be up and down. It's this tariff thing isn't going away overnight.
Oh no. We have them. We don't have them. We have them.
We don't have them. We have some.
Some,
we
but
don't
not
have
others.
as many. We're going to put it off for 90 days.
Yeah.
So
high for this country, but low for this country.
Really. So it's going
and sometimes only on certain items.
Yeah,
Yes.
isn't it something though? What that big tariff on China, except
on computers and things like that.
Phones.
And, So
that's because Tim Cook and Apple, the CEO of Apple, donated over $1
that's
million. So
it'll hurt your friends if we don't.
Right. Yeah. So they waived the tariff on that. Stuff like that.
So it's just the market is just reacting to what's going on, right?
The market does not like uncertainty, and we got it by the bucketful right now.
Yes, we surely do.
Plus, we're going into earnings season. Earnings just started coming out, a few last week, more this week. Bank of America released earnings this morning. They were good. But we're going into earnings season, and the uncertainty that we're concerned with is we're not sure what the companies are going to say once they report earnings for the future. Because how do they know?
How do they know what's going to happen?
Exactly. How do they know if there's going to be a tariff or no tariff,
trade war,
or what the tariff is going to be,
and how it affects them
on the business that they do? Will it affect their amount of business and all that kind of stuff? So it's it's the uncertainty by the bucket.
All right. Should I tell you I'm not happy with Bank of America? Well, I went to an ATM yesterday and wanted to make a deposit. So I was actually at one in Bellingham, and when I got up to the screen, there's a circle that's just spinning around that says, please wait. Please wait. Please. It's not working.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I get out of that one. I drive back into Woonsocket, or I'll go to the one in Woonsocket, and I should have known this, but I didn't pay attention that much as I'm pulling into the one in Woonsocket. And there's two ATM drive-ups
Right.
at the one in
Yeah.
Woonsocket.
Yeah.
Okay, the person in the left lane that's closest to the building is backing up and going and
Not a good sign.
and then pulls into the next one to the right. I'm like, I wonder what the real problem is, and I'm thinking, I go, they probably trying to get cash and they can't get cash, but I'm not getting cash.
You're
I want to make a deposit, so I go into the left, and that's the thing that wouldn't work. You could get cash, you couldn't make a deposit. So you got to be kidding. So I pull out, I do it all the way around again, and get back in line for the one that's right next to it, and you could make a deposit in the one that wasn't closest to the building.
In the time
So I'm
it
not
took,
mad
you
at Bank of
probably
America.
could have gone in and
I
less
know.
time.
I know. I go
See,
goodbye.
I just go in while you're there.
So it took me a half an hour between driving to
Yeah,
make
you
a
could-
deposit at Bank of
You
America.
could've- Yeah, you could have just gone right in and it would
Yeah.
have been easier.
I got nothing to say about Bank of
All
America.
right, that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
okay.
You gotta say something nice.
All right. Well, I'm just
Your
saying.
mother taught you if you can't say
Yes.
anything nice, then
Someone
don't
needs
say
to
anything.
someone needs to keep on their ATM machines.
Yeah.
I'm sure inside and the tellers were just fine and everything
Yeah.
works okay, but when I'm trying to use technology, I just want the technology to work.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Linda, you got to be happy with this one. There's a bill in the House, and they want to ban smoking at the two casinos in Rhode Island.
Well, it's about time.
It is about
I never
time.
figured out why did they get away with it
Well,
when everybody else had to do it.
They just had a they were grandfathered in or whatever. They just had an exemption.
because
they asked
because the
for it.
money went to the state. That's why.
That's got to be it.
That
And,
is.
They asked for an exemption 20 years ago, and,
Yeah.
and the state said, "Yeah, okay." So now there are lobbyists, I should say, for Bally's, which owns the casinos here in Rhode Island, and they don't want it because they think they're attracting the smoking/gambling crowd from Massachusetts and Connecticut because those casinos don't allow smoking in their casinos.
Right.
So, then the people are thinking, well, let's go to Rhode Island. I can smoke at the machines and the tables probably too, and not have to get up and leave. And why the smoking area is on the second floor just boggles the mind.
See, it's still about the bottom dollar.
It does. Well,
You
of course,
know-
it comes down to
you
the
know,
money.
like the thing is, when they put that into effect, it hurt a lot of the clubs, like the Elks and the Circle,
Yeah.
and they're small potatoes, but I guess they weren't giving enough money to the state. So,
No.
but
When when COVID hit, and then when things started to reopen again,
yeah,
they said, "All right, come in and gamble, but if you're going to smoke, go outside." They lifted that ban a few months later, and even the Bally's people said, "We really didn't lose any money on the people that stopped gambling for 5 to 10 minutes, who went outside and had their smoke,
Yeah.
and then came back in." And the people out there smoking weren't complaining that they had to go outside and smoke.
that's what I mean.
So
You know.
why not just have this all the time?
They treat everybody the same. If it's
We're not-
law in Rhode Island that you cannot smoke in a public place, then that's
It
a
should be
public
everybody.
place.
And they're not making people at Bally's, walk across the parking lot, across the road, go into the woods.
They probably have a
and smoke
spot
over
for
there.
them to smoke.
It's
out
right
there.
outside the door.
Yeah.
You can't miss it.
Yeah.
So,
I think people nowadays are used to going outside to smoke.
I think
Yes,
they
It's
are.
not like
They are.
maybe
This is-
20 years
That's
ago.
right.
But people,
Every restaurant
restaurants,
has it.
everything, every public place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always like 50 feet away from the door now. That's
Yeah.
the smoking area.
That's what I mean.
Hospitals, another one. So why not
Why
the
not?
casino?
Yeah.
So
Well, it's the bottom dollar.
does it come
Because
down to money, Linda?
It comes down to money because the state gets a lot of money from those places.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this is a sad situation, and it took place in North Providence. A homeless man has basically he's killed himself as a result of an explosion and a fire last Friday. He said the victim he tried to rig up a propane gas tank to a stovetop at his homeless encampment, and it blew up.
It blew up.
Just the fire and the propane, and boom. And so he was in an encampment in the woods behind Geneva Mills condominiums, which is off Douglas Avenue. I think I know where that is, but I'm not positive. Is that Route 7?
I don't know.
Douglas Avenue? Unless I'm thinking of something completely different. Okay. Anyway, no one else was hurt, but that's what happened with this person. Trying to keep warm, and it didn't quite work out so well for this
sad.
person. So that is sad. All right, we got a note that was called in. It's kind of a continuation on from a note from yesterday, and there was the Archbishop of Miami wrote a piece. It was in USA Today, and the Providence Sunday Journal also reprinted it, talking about how the Democratic Party and the Republican Party never fit into the Catholic model. They just don't fit what the church is saying. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. So, okay. And just on top of that, the note that was called in, 766-1240, Catholic, and this is from the Archbishop. Catholic social teaching is that basically no man is a problem, no human being is a problem. When you reduce a human being to a problem, you erase their dignity, unquote. I guess it maybe talking about homelessness, okay? Nonetheless, the Trump White House and billionaire Elon Musk Doge budget chainsaw squad have sent shockwaves through Catholic circles. All right, that's just a follow-up on that. I don't know what shockwaves they've sent. Have they? I don't know. I've got.
Well,
I
think the thing is that the church has always said, we've always collected alms for the poor, that kind of thing. So I'm sure the cuts to those kind of programs that help people that are poor would be.
It's going against what the Catholic Church is teaching.
Well, I think many churches, not just the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
I think many churches are opposed to that.
Okay, all right. Ed, do you see any way where the White House, the administration, is hurting the Catholic Church in any way? Do you see a correlation here at all?
I guess some of the programs like Health and Human Services and things like that. Yeah. If you follow it down far enough,
Medicaid,
some of that money, it could hurt. But I don't think it's made specifically to hurt any particular religion.
Okay.
Right. Agree. It's not against the religion. It's what they stand for. But not just the Catholic Church. Yeah. A lot of the churches have food pantries and feed the homeless and stuff like that.
All right. So we'll take a break here in the Coffee and program, and let's get a second message from the Carew Investment Group. There, Ed.
Okay. Thanks again, Joe. Good morning again, everyone. Integrity, trust, service. 3 words that sum up what you can expect from the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Established in 1987, we've been helping local investors to build wealth and guide them through their golden years of retirement using quality stocks of companies that you know, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We also use investment-grade bonds and low-cost exchange-traded funds. To find out more about our services and for a quality conservative approach to investing, give us a call at 765-8880. Integrity, trust, and service. The Carew Investment Group. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
And once again, it's not time to panic. The sky is not falling, right, Ed?
I didn't see it even move.
Well, okay then. Perfect. 766-1240 if you got a comment or question. Easter is a season of hope, love, and joy. Spread that love and joy with an Easter flower arrangement from Park Square Florist. With more than 30 years in the floral design business, they can design the perfect arrangement to fit any size or budget or create a custom arrangement just for you. Whether it's lilies, tulips, or something less traditional, you can rely on Park Square Florist to provide the freshest spring flowers that perfectly embody the spirit and season. Order online at floristwoonsocketri.com, in person at 1300 Park Avenue in Woonsocket, or call 401-766-2232 for Park Square Florist.
At your local Little General store, order your holiday and cream pies now. Butterball hams, 19 to 22 pound average, $3.89 a pound, now through Easter at your local neighborhood Little General convenience stores in Lincoln, Harrisville, North Smithfield, and Woonsocket.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio in Woonsocket.
It is the Coffee and program right here on ON. Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. Note was called in 766-1240. Just talking about the previous thing we were talking about the previous message about the Catholics. That's all in reference to the Doge situation and what they were up to.
Yeah,
so.
the Doge thing, yeah.
All right, here's another good thing I think is going to pass in the House, Linda. You might like this. A bill to protect patients from being unable to fill prescriptions because their medical practitioner can't be reached for authorization is headed to the Senate. And I don't know about you guys, but I've had that before where the pharmacy contacts me, says we want to up your prescription. We'll contact the doctor. Okay, and a couple of days later, you get a message saying, we can't contact the doctor to get authorization to do this, and now they throw it back at me.
Yeah.
I need to contact the doctor to get the ball moving. Yeah. I'm like, why am I always the one jumping through hoops?
How are they going to word that bill to make that happen?
Well, the House passed the bill on Thursday. It's going to allow pharmacists in Rhode Island to provide a one-time refill even if they are unable to get authorization or the patient no longer has a prescriber. So they're just going to go and do it.
But you know what? It's always been that way.
Has it?
Many of the pharmacies will give you not a full prescription, but they will give you X amount of pills of your prescription until we can get your whole prescription filled.
Okay.
Many of the, when I was practicing, and my practice setting was the hospital and in home care, that was happening.
Have you noticed that, Ed? Have pharmacies
I've never had
prescribed something?
You never had that problem?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen times when my pharmacy would say, this is the last refill, we're going to contact your...
We'll contact
right.
your doctor. I've never had a problem.
It's always happened.
Okay.
I've never had a problem.
I haven't had that happen, Linda. If my pharmacist can't get a hold of the doctor, then they throw it back on me. They will not refill it until they get the A-OK from the doctor.
Well, to refill a full I guess I might have misled it. To refill a full prescription,
it just says a one-time refill. So if it's 30 days, 90 days, they're going to refill it once. If they can't get a hold of the practitioner. Yeah. I guess they're going to make some kind of notation somewhere in the system. It says, okay, we already refilled this once without authorization. We can't do it again until we hear back from the doctor.
I remember some of them used to give a few of the pills, and like if it were on a weekend or something, we can cover you through the weekend, and then, we'll get to your doctor on a Monday.
Well, this looks like it'll be, if it's 30 days, here's another 30-day supply, but get a
full supply.
Yeah. But let's get a hold of your doctor so they can contact us and get this taken care of.
I guess a lot of people have been having trouble.
Maybe they have.
Maybe.
And the problem is, and knows about this, is you get that Anchor Medical closing down. There's 25,000 patients.
Patients
Yeah.
without
Of which I'm one.
Sorry, Ed.
You're an anchor medical?
Yeah.
Of
Been
what-
with them for 30 years. Since they used to be Harvard Pilgrim. When that closed down,
Right.
they became
that's right.
Anchor
They
Medical.
took over for Harvard Pilgrim.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had the
Did
same
you get
doctor
it?
for over 30 years.
Do you have
And I got
anything?
an email from him 2 weeks ago.
Saying sorry?
Yeah, pretty much. The office that I go to in Lincoln is the last one to close.
But what is he doing? Is he going to
must-
still practice and go somewhere else?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't specify.
Well,
but
that
he's,
was my thing
Oh.
too. Those doctors are still probably going to
Go
be
somewhere.
doctors.
Yeah.
Well, some of them will, but my
Some might
guy, as I
retire.
said, I've been going in for 30 years, and I know he's got to be in his 60s anyway.
Some of them are going
So
to
he's just
retire.
gonna
So he
retire.
may, he's got to be close enough to retirement age.
Well, yeah, some will retire. Yeah.
Okay. And so, and that's going to be tough for some people. Okay, we refill it one time, and now, okay, we can't refill it again until you get authorization from your doctor. And if you're in Ed's spot, I don't have one right now.
Right. Yeah.
I'm between doctors.
Fortunately, I just got 90-day prescriptions on all
Oh,
my
well-
stuff about
well,
3
good.
weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next time, there's no more prescriptions left, so no more refills left. So I'll have to find someone. But I've been
It's
looking.
a scramble right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what about? Does this affect your wife too?
She has no. She didn't have a Rhode Island doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, her doctor. I'm sure I could call her doctor, and that
That's
she
what
would
I was
take
thinking.
me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how we did it with my daughter, and we were in talking with my wife's doctor. Oh, we kept saying, we're having trouble finding a new doctor for our daughter, and the doctor said, I'll take her.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm sure that
Yeah.
she would. But I'm trying to find
All right.
a specific one or two people that I
Yep.
have in mind.
So how about down in Pennsylvania, where the governor's home, someone tried to set it
Yeah.
on fire?
Uh-huh.
Was it Shapiro?
Shapiro, Pennsylvania. Oh no, Shapiro is the governor. What's the name of the? I had the town. I
Could
don't
be
have. I
Harrisburg,
don't
wouldn't
have.
it?
I guess that's where the governor's residence is, right? Dan McKee came out, says he's sending support to Governor Shapiro. Someone set fire. They did arrest someone in that. His family's fine. They're all safe. No one was hurt, so that's great. McKee thanks, and so does Shapiro, thanks the first responders and law enforcement who were got on the scene very quickly to keep the Shapiro family safe. Wow, isn't that? No, I don't know. Josh Shapiro, Republican or Democrat?
Democrat.
He is. Okay. I wonder. Well, I don't know if you heard it on in our news. They asked President Trump his opinion on anything you want to say, and he said about the guy that set on fire, sounds like a whack job to me. That's a quote.
So professional, isn't he? What a
Well,
guy.
that's what he came
So
up with.
professional.
So it's like, wow. So I haven't heard, and maybe you have, Ed, damage to the house.
It looked like there was a lot of damage. They were showing pictures of it on the news last night.
So uninhabitable right now?
Well, I guess it's a big house.
Is
It's a
it?
mansion, they say.
Yeah, they were asleep in the bedroom upstairs or wherever, and the state police were knocking on the door to wake
To
them,
wake them up?
to get
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a good
No
sized
smoke
house.
alarms there.
not
on
in
that side.
that part of the house anyway.
Not in the West Wing, you know.
Yeah, really.
All right, but glad they was caught.
Well,
and-
nobody was hurt, thank
And
God.
And I
no
heard
one
that
was
the
hurt.
guy
Yeah.
gave himself up. The guy
Did
turned
he?
himself in that did it. Now, I mean, it could be, you never know when you hear something on the news. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's,
Right.
conjecture. But that's what I had heard last night.
And some people like they like fame, or they want a little fame.
Well, I was just going to
And
say, they want to take credit for it.
and they
Yeah.
and they turn
Yeah.
themselves in,
Yeah,
and they
right.
didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I got on the news at least though. So all right. So, but good news that nothing happened there. No damage. So the fun is coming to Route 146 in North Smithfield Thursday night. This was supposed to happen last week,
What?
where the flyover bridge
Yeah.
on the southbound side
Yeah.
was supposed to take place.
Yeah.
And I kept looking for it on Friday. I go, nothing's changed. And then I looked again on Monday. I go, nothing's changed. I go, well, they must have decided not to do it. Well, they did, and they didn't send out an email or a press release or anything like that. They were supposed to move it on April 11th, but the bad weather was stopped them from doing this. So now we're going to try this coming Thursday, which is the 17th. And so everybody going northbound on 146, when you're coming up to Sales Hill Road, has got to get way over to the right if you're going to go over the bridge. Because the southbound lanes are going to come where we were just driving. So they can be on the flyover bridge and not stop at the lights. This is all part of how it's supposed to work. And keep the traffic moving. So look for it Thursday night into Friday. Coming down, if you're coming south on 146 from North Smithfield and going into Lincoln, you might be able to take that flyover bridge now and not stop at the light.
Okay.
Are you picturing it all in there?
I am, and I'm like E. So yeah.
This is a good thing.
Yeah.
We want this to happen.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The other south, there'll be 2 lanes. The others, like the northbound lanes now. The other southbound lane will stay where it is at ground level. They'll go up to the traffic signal, right where the gas
Where
station
they
is,
wanna go, okay.
and where Anchor Subaru is.
Yeah.
If you want to take a right or a left,
Yeah.
you'll be able to do it at the light. But if you want to go over the top, you'll be able to do it starting this coming Thursday. So I look forward to seeing.
Are you going to try it?
Well, it depends on what time they try it on Thursday.
Yeah.
I may have to wait all the way to Friday.
Oh, okay.
They may start at Thursday night. I might
busy
miss it by
Thursday
that
and
much.
Friday. I won't be trying it. Yeah.
All right. We did get a call in 766-1240. Caller Ed. Caller is with Anchor Medical.
Yep.
And they referred her to Blackstone Valley Medical at Lake Robin, which is across the street from where the Lincoln Mall used to be.
Robin, yeah.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
They took her right away.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to pass this
I
along.
will keep that in mind.
I'll pass that along note to you
Yes.
because there's
Thank
a phone
you.
number for that Blackstone
thank
Valley.
you very much.
If you want to,
Oh, that's very
I'm gonna,
nice.
yeah,
that.
thank you,
Very
caller.
thoughtful.
yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. I'm going to try to get someone nearer to my home because
Yeah.
I live in Middleborough, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get somebody in Middleborough or
Yeah.
Carver or
Yeah.
Plymouth where all the other professionals
Yeah.
that we use are. But this is good
May
to
not,
know.
it may not work out, and then maybe this will.
Right,
So-
right.
All right, very good. All right, the trial continues down in Wakefield. The former basketball coach at North Kingstown High School accused of doing the naked fat tests on the boys, and they had 2 more former students, I should say, come forward and said, yeah, he was doing this to us while they were in the 6th and 7th grades. And what are they gonna? What are the boys gonna say in the 6th and 7th grade? Your PE teacher's telling you this is what you got to do. You're gonna say okay.
I didn't think the kids were that young. I
They
thought
were-
they were
yeah.
high school.
No, some were younger. So he says the coach pressured them to remove their underwear so he could conduct the naked fat test. Now he's pleaded. Aaron Thomas has pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
Right.
And they still say he might take the stand in his own defense.
In his own defense.
But right now it's the prosecution
Yeah.
bringing all their witnesses
You know,
right now.
I still wonder why? What was the purpose of these conduct? Why?
Well, from his point of view or from the boys' point of view?
From his point of view, why?
I think he thought.
why?
I think he's going to come out and say that he was helping them. Look, you want an athletic career. You should drop 10 pounds. You should drop 5
first of all,
pounds.
he's when a child is a little bit chunky and needing to lose weight, that should come from a doctor who knows the
Right.
child and knows the circumstances, not a coach. Not a athletic coach. They're not.
Yeah, but if he's the coach, and he's looking at now he's the high school was the high school basketball
Yeah.
coach, and he's looking at these kids, 6th and 7th grade. They're coming to the high school in a couple of years, and now he says to them, "Hey, look, you want to be on the basketball team?
Yeah.
You need to drop about 5-10 pounds. I've looked at you. You need to drop." And so I think he
And
thinks
the
he's
next
helping
thing,
them.
and the next thing he should have said,
See a doctor,
see your doctor.
and they'll agree with me.
Talk to your parents, see your pediatrician, because at that age they're still, and see the pediatrician and get their opinion on that. And
But
how are you going to lose that weight?
But he kept basically like an Excel spreadsheet
I know.
on these kids. Your
Yeah.
name and
Yeah.
age and height and weight and like that.
That might be above his pay grade.
It seems to be. This is a lot of extracurricular you really don't need to be doing.
Yeah.
And but maybe he's comparing the kids. Okay, this is what you were in 6th grade last year. Well, let's say you, I don't know, 140 pounds. Okay, so next year now you're in 7th grade. Gee, you've gone up to 150. Maybe you should back it out to 145.
But isn't that the job? Is that in the job description of a coach?
Well, no, because you talk to everybody else in Rhode Island who all went through middle school and high school at the time he was there, and we're like, nobody's gone through this except for these boys in North Kingstown.
Yeah.
So the answer there is no.
No, that's what I mean. And a lot of boys, I think, before, I know my brother was a little chubba wubba there for a while. And then then you grow. Then you grow.
Yeah, I was just going to say a lot. I think a lot of teenage
boys and girls, but especially boys,
don't go to the doctor on a regular basis.
Right.
So I think this guy, if he's doing what he's doing, he may be, like Joe said, trying to do them, do a good deed for them.
That's going to be his defense.
Yeah. And I hear that, and I get that, but
what the boys are saying is that's not his motive.
Yeah.
His motive was something else.
Yeah.
Unless he did something to them.
Well,
how do they know what his motive was?
Yeah.
They can't just say, "Well, he did this because he had this in mind."
Well, right.
You don't know.
Yeah. No.
What he had in mind was to get you in a shape that you could play at a higher position, a higher grade.
Okay, Ed, but he's been charged with second-degree sexual assault and second-degree child molestation.
Yeah, exactly.
Stemming from these tests.
Yeah.
So they're saying that he had an ulterior motive to do this.
I think
Maybe.
he may have been well-intentioned,
Maybe.
but he put himself in a very vulnerable position by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I it just seems to me it's kind of, I don't know.
It's not right.
My husband was a coach, and he had some chunky boys that played Little League and hockey, and
You tell him, run a few more laps.
run a few more laps, eat a few less cookies.
There you go.
And that machine that he used was specifically to test fat.
Yeah, he had some kind of
fat thing, and he was
pincher thing that he was using.
Yeah, it's caliper.
Oh, okay. All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program. More coming your way. It's time for the forecast, and which is being brought to you by Unbound.org.
Cloudy skies today with a high of 66 degrees and a breeze from the south. Showers are likely, with thunderstorms also possible after 5 p.m. Tonight, showers likely, possibly a thunderstorm, and a slight chance of showers, gradually tapering off to clear skies overnight with a low of 38 degrees and a breeze from the west up to 25 miles per hour. Wednesday's weather, partly sunny skies and 51, west wind up to 26 miles per hour. Thursday, sunshine and 57. Friday, sunshine and 63. Friday night, the clouds come in, and on Saturday, we'll see more clouds than sun, but a high of 72 degrees and a breeze from the southwest, only a 40% chance of a shower Saturday. Sunday, sunshine and 62, and on Monday, mostly sunny skies, high of 62.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, cloudy skies with 51 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change the world, and it will change your own at Unbound.org.
Join the Alzheimer's Association Rhode Island chapter for our free Caregivers Journey and Research Conference, Thursday, April 17th at the Crown Plaza in Warwick. Numerous breakout sessions, opportunities to connect with statewide resources, and professional respite care will be provided. Registration is required. Register today online at alz.org/RI. That's alz.org/RI.
In a world where good food, friendly faces, and unforgettable memories collide, there's one place that stands out from the rest. Gator's Pub is proudly celebrating 35 years of excellence in North Smithfield. Join us at Gators Pub, where every visit feels like coming home. Our secret to success? It's simple. Our super friendly staff and mouth-watering dishes prepared fresh daily by our talented chefs. Sink your teeth into our delectable lunch specials from Monday through Thursday and savor complimentary soup to warm your soul. Enjoy the game day excitement with multiple TVs showing the Boston Red Sox while indulging in classic appetizers like our famous potato skins and pita chips. Looking for a lively atmosphere to watch volleyball games? Look no further. Pair it with our juicy burgers or the latest cocktail creations to elevate your experience. Gators Pub, your ultimate destination for good times and great food. Come and celebrate with us at Gators Pub on Route 102, just a mile before Wright's Chicken Farm. Make every moment memorable at Gators Pub, where good friends and great flavors meet. Remember, there are no strangers at Gators Pub, just good friends you haven't met yet.
Hi, this is Pat Holland. Join me and Kevin Callahan live from the cheap seats for all the latest scores and behind-the-scenes stories. We're bringing the game from a fan's point of view. Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. here on ON, AM, and FM radio.
All right, thanks, Pat. It is Coffee In here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. And we got this note come in from the city of Woonsocket. You remember these good times, Linda, when you were town administrator. The Woonsocket Water Division will begin the spring flushing season. It's hydrant flushing season.
It is in our place, too.
Yep.
It's spring.
And
Yeah,
it starts.
We already did that, yeah.
It starts tonight here in Woonsocket. They'll be flushing the hydrants in the following areas: Lydia Avenue, Logie Street from Mount St. Charles Avenue to Manville Road, and from Manville Road from the city line to Vernon Street, including all the side streets in these areas. The flushing starts at about 9 p.m. tonight and will continue until 5 a.m. Tomorrow, Wednesday morning. And as always, you may experience discolored water and lower than normal pressure. And if you experience discolored water, you run the cold water for a short time to clear the lines. And if you want, before they start doing it, store some clean water in containers for usage during these hours. You don't use the hot water because that's not going to clear the lines.
No.
Gotta use the cold. So it is flushing season. It's happening in Middleborough too.
Yeah.
It's in North Smithfield.
As well.
Yeah.
All right, they all do it at the same time. It's got to be done, right?
Yeah. Yes, it has to.
Yeah, they do so many streets at a time.
At a time.
Yeah.
Usually, they don't do the whole town at once.
All right. Well, Harvard University is suing the Trump administration. No surprise. Trump administration being sued by Harvard University professors. They hope to block the government's threat to stop nearly $9 billion in federal funding. One of the administration's demands is the elimination of Harvard's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The lawsuit argues the demands are a violation of the First Amendment and the Civil Rights Act. So, any thoughts? Are you surprised? Not surprised? Seems like everybody's suing the Trump administration, so why not? Why not them? So, all right. So that's what's going on there. You know, they all say, "Oh, we're going to sue." When are these trials going to come up?
Oh gosh.
Years from now?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to start next week. You know. You wish they would, but they won't. So that's what's going on over there at Harvard. So in case you were wondering. Did you hear about that kid, by the way, down in Texas? Every year, at least one person gets accepted to all 8 Ivy League schools. And it was a senior in Texas, got accepted to all 8, and he's not going to any of them. He was also accepted at MIT, so he's going to go to MIT instead. His last name, I think it was like Phen, like Phen. Timothy something, something like that. But and he received like $3 million in scholarships and grants. And when you combine them all together, so he basically could have gone to any of the schools for free. Wow. He's probably going to MIT for free as well. So that's going to go into engineering, I guess. That's what MIT's known for. So smart kid. Yep. And MIT's the place to go for that. So okay. We still don't have the opening statements. Still have not started in the Karen Reed trial yet, Ed. I thought they would have started today.
Not yet. They're still trying to get their jurors in line.
They want 2 more.
Yep.
They keep upping the number of jurors. Now we're up to 8. Now they want 18.
Yeah.
Well, they
12?
keep letting people go that have already been selected.
Have they?
Yeah, they let another guy out yesterday, and
Have they said
replaced
why?
him with another guy. Well, no, they don't usually
No, I'd
give you
like to know why.
an exact reason, you know.
Yeah. So now they want. So they take one of the alternates and put them on. Okay. So they are looking for a total of 18. They want 12 to decide, and they want 6 alternates in case something happens.
Yeah.
6 seems like a lot, but maybe it's because of the trial that this one is, and that everybody knows about it. So they're right down the middle. Right now, they have 8 men and 8 women to be seated on this trial, which has opening statements have not begun just yet. But
it's interesting that they found that many.
So far,
So
I thought it happened quickly.
I think so too, and it's hard to believe that people could honestly say at this stage of the game they haven't heard about it, they haven't formed an opinion. It's been going on for so long.
I think most people, even in the jury pool, said, "Oh yeah, we've heard of it." I mean, I don't know how you can miss it, but they just haven't formed an opinion. On it. That was like, well, this doesn't affect me at all, kind of thing. So I really don't care. And so, but if you can convince the lawyers that you haven't formed an opinion on it,
and both both sides have to say okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They have to say okay.
And they can. I forget the rules. They can kick off as many. They only can kick off as
for
no reason.
Yeah.
And just say, okay, you're just going because I don't want you here.
I don't want you.
But then they got to come up with a reason. After so many, and I forget what the number is. So, but I would hate to be an alternate on this jury.
That means you have to.
You got to go every day. You got to listen to everything. You got to pay attention, and then you don't get to. You may not even be picked, and you don't get to decide.
You don't get to.
And you're like,
vote.
You don't get to vote, and it's going to be months of testimony.
Yeah.
It's like, you're getting paid. I forget what they get paid. Is it $50 a day?
I don't think
it's that much.
No,
it's not that much.
When I was on, it was like $21.
But that's Rhode Island.
Yeah. Oh, you're Massachusetts. So you pay more.
I
can't
thought it was even less
so
than that, but I don't.
Maybe it's $30 a day.
I don't know.
It's
been a while.
Last time I called for jury duty, and I showed up at.
What did you get?
Well, I showed up at 9:00. At noon, they said you could go. We don't need anybody, and all they did was validate my parking.
Really?
Yeah. So all right, I parked for free. Thanks, but I didn't get paid. You only get paid if you get put on a jury.
Right, yeah.
So if you just go and show up and do nothing, except read your book, if that's what you brought, and
I think it was 21
play crossword puzzle, you don't get paid anything.
Yeah.
So, but this was Fall River, and they validated my parking.
Yay.
Thank you very much. All right. So, and it was a nice ride down to Fall River. So.
Loves that Braga Bridge.
I don't think I went over the Braga Bridge.
No?
Well, what'd you do, swim across the river?
Well, no, if you go down 24.
Yeah, 24.
Maybe it was New Bedford. New Bedford or Fall River. Well, maybe I did go over it. It's been a while. It has been a number of years. So, all right. But the Braga Bridge is nice.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice bridge to stay off.
Yeah.
I don't like bridges.
No,
I'm not a fan of bridges. I'm not a fan of bridges either.
All right, we had more protesters, hundreds of protesters outside a federal court up in Vermont, as the case of a Tufts student whose visa has been revoked was heard. This came up quick. The judge heard from both sides of whether Rumeza Ozturk's case will remain in Vermont. She was picked up in Boston.
Boston, yeah.
And then they took her down to Louisiana. Ozturk is currently being held in Louisiana. Outside the court, attorneys for Ozturk said her rights are being violated, all for using free speech and writing an op-ed piece. The judge will issue a ruling in the near future on whether the case will be heard. So they'll just keep moving on from there. All right, more fun. Back to Harvard. Not only is Harvard suing Trump, but Harvard University's rejection of the Trump administration's demands that it make policy changes or risk losing federal money. It is already starting to leading to cuts to money going to Harvard University. After Harvard President Alan Garber rejected the demands, the Trump administration last night announced over $2 billion in funding for Harvard was being frozen. I've said this to other people. You may like Trump, you may not like Trump, but boy, is he consistent. When he says he's going to do something, he just does it, and he doesn't wait. It's just bang. Trump has threatened to pull $9 million in funding for Harvard unless it meets a long list of demands. Harvard attorneys says the demands of the Trump administration are illegal. But in the meantime, it's frozen. So, all right. Be glad you don't go to Harvard, Ed.
I'm glad.
And that Boston City Councilor that had to resign, a plea hearing's been scheduled for May 5th for her. She's agreed to plead guilty to public corruption charges related to accepting a kickback from a relative working for the city. I think we got it bad here. I think we got it bad in North Smithfield. A plea agreement calls for Fernandez Anderson to receive a sentence of 1 year and a day in federal prison, along with 3 years of supervised release. Fernandez Anderson has also promised to resign from the Boston City Council, although it's unclear when that will take place. So, wow. Can't be taking the kickbacks. Good old nepotism. Alive and well with the Boston City Council. Sorry, gotta kick you out. Yeah. All right, more coffee ads coming up. Please stay tuned. And if you got any comments or questions, 766-1240 is the number to call.
WIC is a supplemental nutrition program that plays a crucial role in improving the health and well-being of children by providing families with access to healthy foods, nutritional education, and other essential services. WIC programs help improve the long-term health outcomes of mothers and children by ensuring all eligible families have access to cost-free nutrition resources they need to thrive. If you or someone you know could benefit from WIC, go to health.ri.gov/WIC. Sponsored by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
It was a nightmare. We felt stuck.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee you, if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355.
Join the Alzheimer's Association Rhode Island chapter for our free Caregivers Journey and Research Conference, Thursday, April 17th at the Crown Plaza in Warwick. Numerous breakout sessions, opportunities to connect with statewide resources, and professional respite care will be provided. Registration is required. Register today online at alz.org/RI. That's alz.org/RI.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Linda Tebow and Ed Crew. And did you realize we have an all-female space flight going on right now?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear about that, Ed?
Yeah.
So, an all-female what?
Flight crew.
Yeah,
Oh, that
what's
was
her name?
yesterday.
Yeah. Blue Origin, making history.
Not Holt.
I think there's 6 of them.
Yeah.
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 The one from one of the TV morning shows is going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's see. One of the passengers was pop star Katy Perry,
Yeah.
who gave the ride a 10 out of 10. She was joined by Jeff Bezos' fiance, Lauren Sanchez, and talk show host Gayle King.
Gail.
Oh, okay.
That's who. Yeah, Gail.
The launch is the 11th human flight
Yeah.
for New Shepard, which launches from a spaceport in West Texas. It's a suborbital flight.
Yeah,
So
62 miles, I think.
Yeah.
Up, and that's it? We don't
Yeah,
go any
it's only
farther
up
than
there
that?
for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that.
And then comes right back down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw it yesterday, and
It's
I
at
kind of
the
just...
edge of space.
Edge of space.
Yeah.
All right, because I saw something on it, and I said, well, I really don't care. But I guess Katy Perry was taking some grief because there's a picture, because when she got off the space shuttle or whatever, she came out and kissed the ground. I don't know if she did that trying to be funny or what, but people were giving her a hard time, oh, that's stupid, and you shouldn't have done that kind of thing. I'm like, well, how does it really affect you?
She also had a flower, too.
In her hand?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah?
I think it was a daisy.
Yeah.
And when she got out of the space shuttle, she held it up and said something about, "This is for my daughter." I guess her daughter's name is Daisy. I don't know.
Okay.
And then she kissed the ground.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I didn't see that.
All right.
Yeah, Gail is going. Yeah, I saw that.
All right. Wow. Okay.
You know what?
No?
I'm not impressed.
You're not impressed? Oh, okay.
I'm underwhelmed.
Until you go to outer space?
No, I don't have a desire to do that.
No.
And
Oh, well, okay.
It's okay. Did they ever say that's the first man one that went on that?
No, it was just assumed.
Well,
You
no,
know, way
but
back
that's what I
in
mean.
the Apollo program.
I hate. Well, I hate it when they make a big deal about the first woman in this and first woman in that and first one.
Yeah.
They're people.
No, correct.
They're people.
But it makes a human interest story.
Yeah,
so
I guess
there you
so.
go.
I guess.
So this is bizarre. You know about the Menendez brothers out there in California.
Yeah.
They want a new trial. They want to be acquitted or whatever.
Yeah.
So their aunt, she's in a New Jersey hospital now. She's in critical condition because she viewed the graphic photos of the shootings of the parents in court last week. Relatives of 85-year-old Terry Baralt say she was found unresponsive over the weekend. She's among those who have been calling for Eric and Lyle Menendez to be released from prison after serving more than 30 years for killing their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, in 1989. The family blames prosecutors for showing gruesome photos without warning of Jose Menendez's body and fear Baralt, who has colon cancer, may not recover. Wow. Eric and Lyle's Menendez resentencing hearing is scheduled for this Thursday and Friday. So they're not together. They do it. They're doing it separately. Okay. Wow.
And I remember seeing her being interviewed that she was
the aunt.
The aunt. She looked
okay to you.
She looked okay.
Well, I guess.
And she was very much in favor of them being released.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the photos were too much.
Well, yeah.
And she passed out from them. All right. Things you can't do. In Florida, a woman's accused of running over her estranged husband's new girlfriend. See, you can't do that.
No.
You can be mad, you can be upset, but running them down with a car is
not a good idea.
All right. So deputies say Kristen Reese spotted the victim in the parking lot of a Family Dollar store and chased her down and hit her with her car. Chased out, just drove right after her. So this happened on April 10th. The victim suffered 2 spinal fractures. Wow. And is recovering. Reese is charged with attempted first-degree murder, trespassing, and violating probation.
Oh, that too? Oh, yeah.
Yep, so she had something else going on there.
Yeah.
Maybe she shouldn't even been driving the car.
Right.
You have a suspended license, but I don't know. That's down the ladder of important charges. I don't know if it's first-degree murder. It might be second-degree murder attempt, but wow. And I'm sure they'll say, well, I wasn't trying to kill her.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hurt her a little. And that's or scare her. That's what they would say. I was just trying to scare her. Well, mission accomplished.
I was going to say mission accomplished, I'm sure.
All right. Crazy man out in California decided he was arrested. He's behind bars, suspicion, walking around Disneyland not wearing anything. The man's a Canadian citizen. He was arrested Saturday night in Disneyland's New Orleans Square area. Witnesses say he stripped down and climbed the building, and exposing himself to everyone below. The Anaheim Police Department arrested him on suspicion of trespassing, public nudity, and being under the influence of narcotics.
Gosh.
Shocker, huh?
Yeah.
All right. This is something else you can't do. I found this out by watching, you ever watch the TV show on cable, Northwood's Law?
Nope.
No. They used to follow the Maine game hunters around.
Okay.
See what they did. And then they did that for a couple of years. Then they moved over to New Hampshire and followed like the state police and the game hunters up there. And what I learned up there is, because I'm not a hunter, it's illegal to shoot animals, bear or deer, if you're in your vehicle. Did you know that?
No.
It's illegal. You have to be outside the vehicle to do this. And I forget the reason why. I'm sure it's a safety issue of some sort, but you cannot do this. And I guess it's illegal in other states because a suspect's been arrested for allegedly shooting an AR-15 out the window of a car at a deer in Oregon. You can't do it. It says witnesses reported the shooting and that the car was driving recklessly. It sped past a deputy at 117 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. The suspect stopped in a driveway and 3 people took off, got out of it and ran. The passengers were arrested. The driver, Justin Franklin, refused to surrender and was bitten by a canine before being arrested. We're going to sick the dogs on you. The gun was recovered after being hidden in the bushes. Nice try. But we're gonna catch it. Yeah, it's illegal to hunt from your car or your truck. I guess it's not sporting enough, or it's too easy. I don't know. It's just they go around and they look for these guys.
I think the bear should have an opportunity to maul
Shoot
you.
back. Yeah. So there's all sorts of rules about how you can hunt up there.
Well, there's
about
a season,
baiting and the right season.
You can't bait.
And they watch these guys to see. It looks like he's going to shoot. They can see the rifle coming out the window. Okay, here we go. And they got their body cams going, and they quickly tape. And as soon as they make one shot, bang, they're right on top of them. And say, nope, you can't do that. So okay, all right. Let's see. Anything else going on? Let's see. What do you think about this, Linda? Another health news. A new study finds there might be a link between CAT scans and slightly elevated cancer risk.
Really? Well,
it's radiation, right?
It's radiation.
Okay.
Yeah, that is radiation.
But so are X-rays, right?
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Is more used in a CAT scan?
Yeah. It's a
scan,
tool that is, it's been a useful tool, but everything.
The scan, which exposes patients to radiation, could account for about a 5% of cancer diagnosed each year. The types of scans most often linked to increased risk were abdomen and pelvic scans. Lung cancer and colon cancer are estimated to be the most common types associated with the scans. Researchers say there is considerable uncertainty about the estimates. The study was led by researchers at University of California, San Francisco, and was published Monday in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine. But now we come back to money, Ed, because the insurance company says you can't get an MRI unless you get a CAT scan first.
It's true.
So they're trying to kill you.
Yeah. Well,
you got to get a CAT scan first before you can get an MRI, because we need the CAT scan to come back and say we found nothing. With a CAT scan, we got to have the MRI. That's usually how it works. So it's like, okay. I love insurance companies. Are you excited about the new Harry Potter?
No.
No, not at all.
I didn't even know there was one.
I didn't either.
HBO has greenlighted like a whole series.
Really?
Of Harry Potter shows, and they're not going to remake the movie. They want to do like a weekly series, and that way they can do the book a little more in depth of what the book did than what the first movies did. Oh, okay. So they're in the planning stages right now. They're starting to cast people. John Lithgow will play Albus Dumbledore. Janet McTeer will play Minerva McGonagall. Other people I don't know. A lot of people must be English, I guess. They haven't cast who's going to play Harry. So
Harry.
That'll be the big thing, because
he's all grown up.
Well, the original Harry's in his 30s now.
That's what I mean.
So
he's all grown up.
We got to go find someone who's 11, because that's where you start.
Yeah.
And just go up from there. Yeah. The same with the other two kids, Ron and Hermione. You got to get them when they're young. Yeah. And whooping cough is on the rise.
Is it?
Yeah, they're skyrocketing. Cases of the illness have risen in 1,500% since 2021.
Vaccinations.
And there's been 10 deaths related to the infection so far in 2025. Researchers say a decrease in children being vaccinated are to blame for the increase. With less children receiving the standard vaccine since the COVID-19 pandemic, ProPublica analysis says this is placing a higher risk than ever for young children on contracting potentially deadly diseases. Right. And I thought you had to have these vaccinations before you went to school.
You used to have to
but
have
now you
them
can,
to go to school. And
now you can
but
just,
I got to tell you, that's very dangerous for grown-ups.
Whooping cough?
Because if the kids get it, and they can pass it on to like their mothers, their grandmothers.
But if you've already been vaccinated, are you all set against it?
Well, that's it. But like some of us were vaccinated, although
long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But now they were recommending that people over the age of certain maybe ought to think of getting another vaccination.
All right. Well, that'll do it for now. So just look out, whooping cough is on the rise. So that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in, Ed Crew. Thanks for coming on in.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right. And Linda Tebow, thanks for coming in as well.
My pleasure.
All right. We'll see, Linda, will we see you Sunday at the Senior Resource Fair?
Yes.
For at least for a little while? All right, great.
It's Saturday.
Saturday? This Saturday.
Did you say Sunday? Don't.
Not Sunday.
Don't.
Saturday.
Don't mess with me.
9 to 12 at the Elks. All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember it's at 9 o'clock here in about 5 minutes here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio.